Boy, we got some big college basketball games going on tonight, so let's talk betting and college basketball with Tanner McGrath, sports betting analyst with the Action Network. Tanner, my man, get the DVRs ready, whatever it is we got to do, because we got the number 3, number 4, and number 5 teams playing tonight. Starting off with number 5, Tennessee versus Mississippi State. What picks do you like?
Man, college basketball conference play is in full swing. Best time of the year for me. Let's start with Mississippi State versus Tennessee. I got 2 picks for this game. I like Mississippi State plus 2.5 and under 137.5. You can get those both at FanDuel. I like it plus 2 or better. Look, Rick Barnes is an elite defensive coach. We all know this. The same could not be said of him as an offensive schemer. And I think, again, we all know that. Tennessee's one viable path to points is by using secondary off-ball screen and cutting actions to pop open Dalton Knecht. It's known as a flex motion offense. And Knecht is an elite 3-level scorer with a smooth stroke, and he's thrived in the system, dropping 15 points per game, totally changing Tennessee's offensive outlook. That said, Chris Jans, head coach for Mississippi State, elite defensive schemer, mastermind. His modified pack line scheme is really good at defending those secondary actions that Tennessee wants to use. The Bulldogs rank first nationally in cutting points per possession allowed and top 90 in off-ball screen points per possession allowed. So basically all the actions that Knecht and the Volts want to run. Even worse, Knecht's production has fallen off a cliff lately. Has been held under 10 points over 4 of the past 5 contests. He's shooting 32% from the floor, 26% from deep during the stretch. Look, I mean, I don't know how Mississippi State really scores here, given Barnes' defense is really good at defending on ball and in the gaps, which is really where the Bulldogs want to work. But Tolu Smith is working his way back to full health, which is a boost to that offense. And I think Tennessee's cutting defense is a tad overvalued. So I'm hoping that Smith can kind of drop cut his way to a tight home victory. And ultimately, Mississippi State is due for a bounce back home victory off that tough road loss to South Carolina last time out. And I think they have the schematic advantages to keep it within 1 possession or win outright in just a low scoring, disgusting SEC ball game. Also, Tennessee probably due for a loss after 8 straight wins, none of which have come on the road, by the way. This is just the Vols' 3rd true road game. And their elite defense, by the way, allowed 100 to North Carolina in their last true road opportunity. Altogether, give me the Dogs and the under. I make Mississippi State a pick'em and the total closer to 130.
All right, both teams sitting at 11-3 on the season. Tennessee has a conference win. Mississippi State still searching for their first one, so it's going to be a dogfight, no pun intended. We got number 4, UConn versus Xavier. What's your pick or leans?
Yeah, I'm not betting on this game. I do lean Xavier plus 4.5 and over 147.5 at FanDuel. So if you're going to bet it, that's where I'd go. Couple reasons why. Xavier, they play fast, and UConn's transition defense is questionable. So this game could be played at Xavier's up-tempo pace. And I think the Musketeers should score on those sets. Additionally, UConn has really struggled to defend bigger wings on and off the dribble. And Desmond Claude for the Musketeers fits that bill to a T. He's dropping 15 points per game while putting up 10 interior field goal attempts per game. Flip side, I don't think that Xavier can keep UConn off the boards, which should lead to plenty of second chance points for the Huskies. Our action internal numbers here project Xavier as just a 1.5 point home dog. The shot quality bets model projects 152 total points. So I think there's value on both of those lines, but I'm hesitant for a couple of reasons. I don't know if Xavier can stop UConn's elite secondary actions. The Musketeers seem to be good against like off-ball screens, but they're really bad against handoffs and cutters. And their interior defense is good, but I don't know how good it can be against just a really complex UConn offense. It's really hard to stop Dan Hurley. The guy knows how to scheme offense. And also, I don't have a feel for how to handicap this game among injury uncertainty. Specifically, the multi-week injury to UConn's stud center, Donovan Clingan, among the most important players to his team at the Power 6 level. UConn has looked really bad at times without him, but they've also looked great when Samson Johnson is playing well, but that guy is still a little inconsistent. So all in all, I'd bet Xavier in the over if you had to, but I'm probably staying away from this one.
All right, last but not least, we've got a great Big 12 matchup. UCF, they're sleepers, versus number 3 Kansas. What's your picks for that one?
Yeah, in this one, I don't know if UCF is as much of a sleeper as Kansas is just not that good, in my opinion. I'm on UCF plus 7.5, minus 115 at FanDuel. I like it down to like +5. My big problem with the Jayhawks is that they don't have the necessary shooters or floor spacers to complement the Harris Dickinson two-man game. Kevin McCullough is playing great, but Elmarco Jackson and Nicholas Timberlake are not replicating Jalen Wilson, Grady Dick guard production from last year, and nobody is replacing Grady Dick's shooting, which bailed them out constantly in the half court last year. So it's resulted in like this awkward half court offense at times, with opposing defenses hovering over Dickinson on the low block and overplaying Harris as a dribble driver because you don't have to respect the perimeter. So I've been fading Kansas all year, and I've been doing well at it. I mean, they're 5-9 against the spread, 5-7 as a favorite, 3-7 against the spread over their past 10 games. Barely scraped by TCU in a game that they probably should have lost. Barely scraped by Indiana, UConn. They even struggled with Eastern Illinois at home. I'm happy to fade them again here because I really like the schematic matchup for UCF. The Jayhawks' entire offense revolves around Dickinson on the interior. They use cutting, post-up, and short roll action to generate his 20 points per game. But UCF is an elite cutting defense, an above-average post-up defense, and the nation's best roll man defense by points per possession allowed, just 0.61. And a big part of all that is 7-foot center Ibrahima Diallo, who should hang tough with the 7'2" Dickinson down low. Now, UCF might struggle to create half-court offense on their end because the Knights rely heavily on second-chance points, and Dickinson is just a vacuum on the glass. But the Knights also love to run in the open floor. They get out in transition a lot. And the Jayhawks' transition defense has been surprisingly poor. 1.03 points per possession allowed. That's just in the 39th percentile among Division I teams. I'd look for Jalen Sellers and Shamari Allen on those open court opportunities. And it's also worth mentioning that Kansas also loves to run the floor, but UCF's transition defense has been much better. 0.91 points per possession allowed. That's in the 82nd percentile. Now, I think this game could be inefficient from a scoring perspective because I don't love either team's offensive matchup, but I'm hesitant to take the under because it should be a fast-paced, up-and-down-the-court matchup. Still, the Knights have the advantage there in transition. They have a great defensive matchup. They're at home after a tough loss to Kansas State, so they're in a good bounce-back spot. And I think they keep it close with a Kansas squad that I just think is wildly overvalued. Wow. Our action and turtle numbers project UCF as only a 4-point dog, so I think there's plenty of value with the Knights plus the 3 possessions.
All right, Tanner just did the work and the research for you guys, so make sure you hit up your sports books. Try and win a little money for the weekend that's coming up. Tanner, thanks for hopping on with us, man.
Hey, thanks so much, man. Appreciate it.